Hi, it's Jess here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. So I've got a little accordion folio for you. Now, I followed a video by Tracy Fox and she used sort of Tim Holtz paper and it was all very vintagey, but I have used some black and white paper. And so it's not very vintage, and this is my prototype, but I've made it for a person. I'm sending it to them and they should hopefully have it by now. And I'm just going to give you a flick through of this, and then I'm going to show you how I made it with some different papers. Going to make it Christmassy. So I've used Stampin' Up papers, ribbons, stamps, well, only one stamp, and some Retired Memories and More cards. So this is Retired Memories and More cards, and it's all retired paper. So this was like Petals and Posies, I think, and then this was the celebration DSP we had. So it's accordion, and it opens up that way, so you can kind of fold it over like that. Oh, and then continue that way. It's cool, isn't it? I love it. Love it. And it is so simple to do. I attached the ribbon around the back of this topper here so that it can tie off. And you use, for the base, it's 2 sheets of 12 by 12, and then some scraps. I use some scraps. 3 sheets would be enough. Basically, I probably didn't even use as much as 3 sheets. And then I added, so these are Memories and More cards that I've added there to make a little pocket there and a little pocket there. And this is just basic white cardstock, so that can be photos, journaling, whatever. So that goes in there. I put some ribbon there, the same ribbon that I've used everywhere on these pockets here. And then we just got a nice black tag. I thought that looked cute. This is like the same as there. So I cut the Memories and More card down there to give a second pocket. And another one there. I've left these ends blank. Can easily put a photograph on there or whatever you like, and then flipping it over, obviously that's the front and that's the back, which again I left plain. I left these two to be plain. This is sort of 6 by 4, so you could put a photograph on there. So I just put a little bit of the stickers that were in the Memories and More card. These were stickers from the Memories and More card, and I did these 2 pockets sort of slanted like that. Thought that added a bit of extra interest to have these on there. The Tracy's one was very grungy and torn, etc. Those are exactly the same as the others. So yeah, it didn't take very long. So I started it on Sunday afternoon and I finished it on Monday morning. So really not a very long project at all, and we get all in a pickle when it comes to folding it up. There we go. It's an accordion. So yeah, so you get like goes like that, goes like that. So yeah, nice, simple, easy little project. And I say I'm sending this to a friend. And I'm going to make one with a Christmas theme, because it's a Christmas theme blog hop that I'm making it for. And I've got loads of Christmas paper that I need to use up. So yeah, let's get started. So to make this, I'm going to use what I've got left of Heartwarming Hugs. So I've got 2 full sheets and I've got some scraps. I've got nearly a full sheet there. So that should be enough to make this project. So I'm just going to put those to one side for now. We're going to concentrate on our 2 sheets here. So these are full 12 by 12 sheets. Works better if it's non-directional. So decide where I want the stripes to go. So I want the stripes, I think, to be that way. So we put it side on. So my first score line is top and bottom either side. I will link to Tracy's video down below as well. So we're going to score it at the 6. We're going to swizzle around and we're going to score at 2, at 6 and at 10. And we're going to do that again on the other sheet. This really doesn't matter which way up it is at all. So we'll do the 6 on one side, turn it around and do 2, 6 and 10. And that is all the scoring done. I'm going to do some folding . I'm going to fold it both ways because it's accordion and it's going to want to go both ways. I'm not burnishing at this stage. I'm just giving it a gentle crease. And do the same with the other one. Now, there's bits in this where I thought that I could cut a few corners, but I've decided to just go with what the instructions were. It worked. Right, so these are our pages, so it's how you want them to be. So you're going to have this folding up to form pockets. I think that works with that. And then on that side we're going to have these red bits folding up to form pockets. I think that works. I think that works as well. Now, I'll go back to what I was going to do. Okay, now, what you're going to do is we're going to join them at the 2-inch section. So it's deciding which you're going to overlap at the 2-inch section, and we're going to take away one of these, and it's about deciding which way round you want it. Now, Tracy used some sort of Tim Holtz paper, so it didn't matter that these were different. You could use the same sheet and then that wouldn't matter, but we are going to end up with a panel there in the middle with 2 different bits of DSP on it. The way I got around that was I covered it, so that's a workaround. So it's whether or not we're actually going to end up with this a completely different panel. I think we'll have more of that. So we will take this 2 inches off. So this is where I was saying that I did consider doing this to 10 inches by 12. So we don't even have this panel. But I think until it's all folded up, the decision about which to take away is hard to make. Now, I am using a guillotine to cut this because it's been scored, and if you use the trimmer on a scored line, it does tend to rip a bit as opposed to score. So that is going to get joined there. But we need to do some cuts on these bits. So we need to take away this lower 6x2 section, and we want to cut up all of these sections. Okay, so let's come back in here to take this up. Now you could use a pair of scissors to cut them. You could use a trimmer. You could do what Tracy did, which was a ruler and blade, but I've got quite nice scissors here, so I am gonna be brave and cut up. So I'm feeling for the score line, and I'm cutting this side of the score line because we actually want to get rid of, I'm doing this without glasses and I can't see a thing, so going to rectify that now. That's better. So we got that. So we've got lots of scraps that's going to help with forming the pockets. So that's come off and the score line's gone. So here we want to cut both sides of the score line to get rid of a little slither. So, and now we'll just go just the other side of the score line. We're taking the absolute little smidges worth off, like so. And we'll do the same here. I say not everybody has a blade and a metal ruler, so I just wanted to show that you could do it with a pair of scissors. Okay, so that's going to go on there. So yeah, we want to cut off that 2-inch strip and cut up here, and yes, we do want to cut off, so we want to cut up all the 2-inch strips. So we end up with one piece like that, and then we'll just cut up this middle bit. There we go. So that's what you end up with. One sheet that looks like that and one sheet that looks like this. And we are going to join these two together. So I'm just going to put some glue on this side to join there. Yeah, I could join that way, but I'm going to join this way. So bit of glue around that. Going to use wet glue. I like Tombow. You could trim it down, doesn't need to be the full 2 inches. I left it to give it some extra strength. I don't know why I put that much Tombow on, because it doesn't really actually need to be that much. I'm just gonna give it a bit of a spread out. And so then using my grid mat to make sure I am straight to go over. That's that. And what you'll do is will have these pockets. These will form pockets like so, and this is how it's going to look. It's going to create a sort of W, like so. So we want our pockets to be cut down. So on one side I cut them straight across so that we had little pockets, and then on the other side I cut them so they were little squared off bits, which I quite liked. So I'm going to now come in with my bone folder and give everything a burnish, because now we know where we want things to go. And then we've got our nice little 6x4 little package. Okay, so I'm going to cut these to form our little I'm going to hold them so they're sort of 6 inches tall. So I'm going to go to the edge of my trimmer there, which is 1.5 inches, and cutting the whole thing off. Cutting the whole thing off, and then I'm going to go diagonally in a bit on here. So I'm going to put the point at the edge of my trimmer. Let's get that point to 2. Then we sort of know where we are. That point there on the 2 line, that point there. That's not where I want it. I want to come down a bit. Let's go to 1 3/4. You can, I did just do this by eye, but I'm just trying to give you a way of doing it. Like so. So now I could use this as a template over here so that I cut it in exactly the same way so that they match. It's a very long drawn out way, but hopefully we'll work it out. So I say the first time I just did it by eye and then used the cut off bit as a template. There we go. So that's those pockets on that side, and then the pockets on this side I just trimmed down. So to get this right size I did it on my trimmer, so put that crease to about 3 inches. I think I might have gone 2.5 actually, so go to 2.5. We can see it here as well. And then we have nice big scraps as well to be used for pockets. So that is where we're at with that. We want a panel on this, so I'm going to get my scraps and choose which one of these I want for my panel. Oh, my video stopped then, and spookily I checked it and must have caught it just in time. I think I was just cutting this up. So it's a 6x4, but I just took a 1/16 off the top and the sides to allow it to fold, so that it'll still fold over without anything getting in its way. So that's covered that nicely. So now we just need to glue up the pockets. So I'm just doing a little bead of glue on all the pockets. You can make the pockets however you want them, whatever shape you want them. I've gone for this, but if you want to change them, then you can. That's the beauty about these things. No rules. Do what you want. And then down here we just want glue down there and glue down there. And I will put a little extra pocket on the top as well. Now you could of course make this with a 6x12 strip. If you had directional paper, use a 6x12 strip, and that looks like this. That needs a little bit of trimming on there, and put the pockets on separately. That is another way of doing this. If you wanted to use directional paper, that would also work. So that is the beginnings of it. So we're going to cover on that. Open that way, open that way, back cover on there, open that way, open that way. So we have ourselves a little bit of a W with a flap. So we're going to put some extra pockets in these sections. I did leave 2 of them blank, which you can do. If we refer to my original one, so this is my original one. So I've done the pockets slightly differently. I folded different ones over. So I put 2 slanty ones in here from some of the stuff that was left over. So that is, well, actually no, these are scraps. And then on the other side, with these big ones, they were the ones that I kind of left blank and just added some extra pockets on there, which I quite like, because that's like a whole photo's worth there. So leaving those blank, going to add some pockets here. So we've got our scraps that we cut off. Now we could just turn them over and then they kind of match the back. We've gone all opposites. That's quite nice. Quite like that look. We could go for smaller pockets and use some of these smaller cut-offs. We could bring in a new colour if we wanted to. We could add a nice stripy pocket. I quite like that. Yeah, I think introduce a bit of a stripy there. That would be quite good. So let's trim this to the right width. So we're 4 minus a 16th. I'm going to cut it this way first. So I might go up 2 inches. They were 2.5 inches, weren't they? I did write these measurements down and they are in front of me, but I think I've gone off piste. 2.5 inches. So if I go to 5, go 2.5. That's my pockets. So I'm going to have one coming down that way, one coming in that way. I think that's how we're going to do them. So I'm putting this on the track, and let's go to 1 inch there. And then we'll take our other bit, use this as the template. There, that's it. That side on the one, that side on the track, then they'll match. And then you move at the vital moment, Jess. There we go. So that's our little pockets there. Glue it in again in the same way. This one's going on 3 sides. There we are, that's our pockets done. So tag for the front and the back, which is bigger than what's inside. That just adds a nice little bit of interest. If you wanted to, you could make your cover just slightly bigger than 6 by 4. If you wanted to do it that way, you don't have to do it like a tag, but I quite liked it. I liked the way it looked. So I took some, this is the white packaging that comes with a pack of DSP, and that's what I used. And I cut this to 7 by 3.25, so that it's got 1/2 inch top and bottom, and it's not quite as wide. So that's 7, 3.25. And this will be layered with DSP either side, a bit of glue, and then that makes it quite robust. I think that was already cut down to 7, wasn't it? Yeah, that's what I used on the other. So there we go. That one's slightly bigger. Let's take a smidge off. There we go. Perfect. So that's what we want. For that, we're going to use my trusty little credit card thing, and I'm going to use that one to cut a tag shape. Without moving. And I do all the tags in it in the same tag shape, so they all match. So you can use any sort of card. You could even use, you know, Stampin' Up cardstock. It's just this is slightly thicker, so just wanted something a little bit thicker to go on the front and the back. So they will get covered and go on the front and the back. So I've got this sheet here, I love this stripe, so I think I'm going for that to cover it. So we'll have the same on the front and the back, and I can get 3 out of here, and I'm hoping that this little scrap I've got in here is going to be big enough to do another. Not quite. Oh, pants, as Tracy would say. That is a bit pants. I might have to do a little bit of a mini collage on the inside then, because that's me out of that paper. If I cut this to 3, I'd actually manage it, wouldn't I? Oh, now I've got to think. Or I'll just add a little bit extra to the bottom. It's okay. So I'm going to glue these to this. I'm going to use my collage glue because I want it to be stronger, well, as if it was thicker. I like collage because it does add a little bit of extra GSM, if you like, to your paper, or poundage if you measure your paper in pounds. So using my little spreader here, I want it to get all the way to the edges. Saves cutting. I match it up to the edge. And then I'm going to use my guillotine, because I think that's easier for cutting this. You cut it by hand. I cut the last one by hand. And then we just snip these off. And that's our tag for the front. And I'm going to do the other one in exactly the same way. So there we are. That's the second one done. So we're going to stick one on the front and one on the back. Okay, so we'll do the front one first. So what I'm going to do is where the tag corner bits are, that's going to be matched up there at the top. And then give us our little overlap down at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to stick it on here, so I can kind of see, because of the pattern I've got, I can see on that pattern where the glue needs to go, but you can put a pencil mark if you want to be sure, but I know it's the end of those petals. So I'm going to do a bit of glue just on the inside of where that is. And then I'm going to drop some glue on my tag. Numpty. So then I'm going to take a bead of glue on the inside from that corner and stop before I get to the bottom, so that I know that the edge will be glued down. So because I've got straight lines on this DSP, it's quite easy to get it straight. When you open it up, it doesn't look straight, but that, when I line it up on the paper, that is straight. So then we're going to do the back one in exactly the same way, and we have the one on the front to help with the lining up process. So I've got a dotted line there, so I know to come inside that dotted line there, so that's where we're going. And again, oh, going down the edge. Keeping this now in line with the tag that's already on the front. A bit of ooze in there. So that's them on. So now we need to cover the insides of these. So I can either flip it over and do it in red, or I can do the same pattern that's on the other side. I think I'm going to do stripy on this side and maybe red on that side, and I could put a little bit of stripe on the bottom. I think that would work because it's not quite long enough. I think that will do nicely. I know we're looking at 7 by 3 1/4, so that's what I'm cutting up to. So what have we got here? So we want 3 1/4. And it's 7, and this is just shy of 7. So we'll get our little strip. Yep, that strip will work. So we'll cut this to 3 1/4. So we'll stick this down first and stick the other one on it. So 3 1/4 by 7. So this one's going to get stuck on the inside. So we're going to put glue all the way on the white bit. But when it comes to the red bit, we're going up there. So I'm coming a little bit inside where I want it to be, and then I can put glue down the inside of this, and then I know we'll be sorted. Not going all the way to the top because that's going to get cut off. I think I've put more glue than I really need, but hey ho. It's not gonna come unstuck. So where's my bone folder? That's to squish all the glue out that I don't need. And I can give it a wipe. That's the other thing I like about Collard glue, is it does clean up really well. Tombow can be a little bit sticky, and you get a lot more wiggle room with Collard, but you can already hear how stiff that is. And then we just need to cut off these corners. And then the back, I'm going to stick this bit on first, and then stick that over the top. Or shall I do it the other way around? I'm actually thinking I might do it the other way around. Yeah, so I'm going to do that in exactly the same way. There we go. So that is our front and back cover bit done. So now it's just making the tags and doing the decoration. So I put some extra bits of pockets on these ones. I just put a bit of DSP, and then I put something over on the top, a nice little greeting. It's going to be Christmas. I've got loads of possible Christmas greetings. And then on the other side I had some memories and more card, but I thought we'd make the bigger tags first. I think I'm going to go like I did before. I did some white ones and I did black on these, but these I could do Mossy Meadow, I could do Real Red, and that's Pear Pizzazz. I'd probably be going for Mossy Meadow or Real Red, I think, in these, and I'm going to leave those as is. So I think some Mossy Meadow ones in there would be good, and that would probably fit well in there as well. So I cut the big ones at 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. I have all the measurements over on my blog, so I'm going to get those cut out. Completely forgot I did have current memories and more cards, so I've trimmed, and the colours go nicely, so I've trimmed it down to 3 1/2 by 2 1/4. It's taken a little bit of it off, but I think that one works. Trimmed this one down as well, and we've got these stickers, so I thought I might just put Merriest Christmas. Eyeball that to be in the middle, and I think that'll work quite nicely on that one. Now I did cut little sort of thumb hole there. I used an inch circle punch to do that. I know we don't stock this anymore, but I've still got it. I'm sure if you bought it when we did stock it, you'd still have it. I didn't do that very well, did I? I think that still works. So they just need gluing down on the 3 sides, and that's them covered. And then on the other pockets, it was a bit of DSP and some sticker, but I think I'm going to have to just find a greeting and stamp. So I'm going to get those stuck down and get my tags all cut. So I've been busy sorting out the last bit. So I remembered that the gingerbread and peppermint DSP's got Real Red in it, and although it's old olive, I figured it went well with it. So I've made my tags. I'm going to make one of them with you to show you how I did these, and likewise the little one there, and this pocket in front here. So I took one of the memories and more cards. I cut it down. I'm going to make them matching, and so I cut it down to, well, it's 3 inches by 1 3/4. So that's what I did, and then I just added one of the stickers to it and used my little circle punch to create a little notch in the top for there. This little journaling card that I've made, I know it's red, I thought you could put photos on it. You can still write on it even though it's red, and this measures 2 1/2 by 3 1/2, and I just rounded the corners with my corner rounder, and then I used the decorative bit just on the top, just so it looked pretty against the edge. And that was simply all I did. So this needs a sticker, so I'm going to take it off. I thought afterwards that actually on the other side I wish I'd done the matching, and I may well change it. So there we go. So just stick that on, and that is that bit done. I say these, I put a little bit of decoration on them, but I imagine they're going to be covered up. I'm not going to put anything on these sides, I don't think. I might put some of the baubles from the DSP, from the gingerbread and peppermint, or I might just leave them as they are because it works quite well. So stick that down there. So there's plenty of places. And of course you could put, if this is for Christmas memories, you might have a nice tag on one of your presents, and you could pop that in there instead, just to remind you of what you got for Christmas. And then on the other side, instead of doing a piece of ribbon, I used the border die from penned flowers. So the border die from that gives you a nice sort of scalloped stitched edge there. So that's what I used, and I'm just going to stick it on the end. So I'm just going to cut up there, so that it fits down there, and then I'm going to put glue up until there, and then we'll snip the end off, glue that in place, and then I will show you how I did the other two tags. And because you can see all of this, I decided to decorate that tag. I was going to leave them plain because you could put a nice big photo on them, but you can still do that even though it's got something on it. But it was about, I just wanted it to look pretty whilst it's got nothing in it, really. I felt it looked plain. So I've used the tidings and trimmings, and I just stamped it in real red, and then I've used the stitched So Sweetly dies to cut it out. Quite like that. So we finished that off, so then we just need to cut up there. There we go. So that's how we did that bit. So we did this in the same way as we've just done the front. I'm looking around for, oh, it's there. I was like, I'm looking around for the bit of card that I used. So in the same way, but I've added a tab to this one. So this measures 4 by 2 3/4, and that's so it fits in this pocket. So like we did before, I'm going to round the 4 corners. So that is that bit, and then I made a tab. Now I do have the retired rounded tab punch. I've got a work round, so I'm just going to cut a bit of this off, snip it so it's wide enough, and go up there. going to fold it in half. Yes, that's about the right size. Folding it in half, and I'm taking the Penguin Builder Punch. So you put the fold near the top of the head there. So I've done a video on this. So I just pulled it through. And then bring it down so that the fold comes down just a tad so that it's folded at the top. Keep the shoulders there as straight as possible. I've got the fold there so it's not going to get cut. I come down a tad. You don't want to come down too much because you still want to make it look like a round at the top. Oop. And then that gives you your tab topper. So if you haven't got any other tab topper punch, but you've got the penguin punch, then that's one way of doing it. And that is how we did that one. And then lastly this one, and this measures, I've got it written down but all the scraps are now written on it. This is 5.5 by 3.25, and then we're just going to round the bottom and then cut the top with the same. And then for this bit, I took a bit of this and I cut it 3/4 of an inch, 1.5 inches long. Fold it in half. We have a 3/4 of an inch square. So that's how they're all made. So they're all the same size. Make the top stick up a bit so you've got a pull there. But I've put eyelets in to tie the ribbon. So stick this down. I'm using my crocodile. There are other eyelet setters on the market. That's just what I've got. So you don't have to do it. You could just punch a hole and not bother with the eyelet, but I like the eyelet. So I've got it set at 3/8, so that's the center point, so that I know it's going to be in the center. I've got some of the eyelets. I wanted white ones. The only white ones I've got are these little flowers, which I thought, oh well, that's quite cute. We'll use that. Stick it through and give it a squeeze. Oh, it's come out. Well done, Jess. And then we just need a bit of ribbon. So I'm using the crinkle seam binding ribbon. I'm just gonna feed that from behind. And then I'm just gonna snip it down. And there we go. So that one goes in the front and that one in the back. So then we just need to do our bit of stamping. So I've got a bit of white card there. I've got my stocking mounted. I've got some real red ink. Put that there. And then I'm going to die cut that out. So that's that done. So just going to stick that on that tag. And that's it, finished off. And a bit of me was thinking I could change that, but it's stuck down now. But when I did the other side and I did them matching, I thought, So the only thing now left to do is decorate the cover. So that's that side done. So I'm leaving those plain. So decorating the cover. So I used a memory more card on the last one, and I thought I might do the same on this one. And looking through the cards, I thought I quite liked that one. And what I did before was I actually matted it. So I cut the mat to 3x4 so that I actually trimmed this down a bit. So I'm taking 1/4 of an inch off the height and the width. So because I want this to stay centered, I'm going to take 1/8 off each side, so that we're going down to 2 3/4. And then likewise the top, we'll take 1/8 off the bottom and 1/8 off the top, so that that stays central and gets matted on there. So what I did before was I did use a bit of ribbon to tie round. So what I did was I wound the ribbon round and then tied my bow so that I knew how much I needed. Like so we're going to cut that off there. And then I took the red, or the backing card, and I went underneath. It's quite a large bow, so this could grow and it could become smaller. So we put that in there. Hold this down so it was in the middle. So we're going to attach the bow, the ribbon, to the topper, so it leaves the sides free, because you want the sides free because it opens both ends. So we'll have it across there. So I took a bit of tear and tape. I'm just eyeballing that across the middle. So we kind of have it where we want it, and then we can now undo the ribbon, take it off, adjust a tad, there we go, and then we just put some glue on this to stick it down. So that sandwiches it, and then we stick it to the front cover, and that's how we get our ribbon attached, but it doesn't harm the closure or the opening on either side, because it's accordion, it can open either way. There we go. And then And you can see the ribbon's longer on one side than it is on the other. I just thought that was the easiest way of getting it in the right place. So now that is going to get stuck on there. And I just think it'd be a nice way of recording Christmas. A Christmas where there will be more people around my table this year, fingers crossed, than last year. And so I can put photos, and if I want to do some writing, I can add white card to it to write on. And there we have it, our Christmas accordion little folio. So that's the Christmassy one, that's my original prototype black and white one. So you can see how they can look quite different. And let's just do a quick little flick through of it. So we open that way, we could do some journaling, a photograph, we've got journaling spaces, pockets that you can put other things in, photos, Christmas tag from that special present, put a photo there. Now we've got the same here with these two nice tags. It looks pretty, it's very festive, it's green and red. All what we want with Christmas. That's the back, and then it opens this way. Nice big tag there. No reason why you couldn't cover that up if you had a nice photograph. Here we've got two tags here. Plenty of space for adding memories, which is what we want to be doing at Christmas, making lovely, lovely memories. So could give this as a present, and that's kind of a statement there that it was made with love. I still might change that. And that's back to the front. So we open it up. That's one side. And that's the other. So hope you liked that. Thank you to Tracy Fox for the original idea. I will link down below to her video if you want to look at a more vintage version. And that's my monochrome version, and that's my Christmas version. So I hope you like that. Hope you give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Share my videos, and yeah, have a go and let me see it. I'd love to see it. Have a Facebook group, Nigezza Creates Crafty Place. Do join it if you want to. Have a Facebook group with my friend Jill. That's Come Crafting with Jill and Jez. And yeah, we do live crafting in that group once a month. You might have seen it on YouTube as well, because we do replay it on YouTube. Okay, bye for now. All the details will be over on nigezza.co.uk, and all links to the shop will be down below and over there as well if you wish to purchase anything.